Hello, everyone, and welcome to this kind of lovely edition of the Eagles Plus show. It'd be a lot lovelier if somebody had won a game, maybe if we were a better
No, that's
team,
still lovely.
maybe if we were in a playoff race, maybe it would be a little bit more lovely. I it's glad to hear that you're so being lovely. G Rich, how are you doing today?
We'll see how I'm doing come draft time. I can care less now. I mean, Patriots and Cowboys aren't in the playoffs, so I could care less who really wins. We have the 6th overall pick, which I know Duel is very happy about.
That's definitely not
Hopefully,
a bad
Howie
thing.
don't fuck it up. But
Well, no promises on that one, my man. But let's talk about this so controversial week that the Philadelphia Eagles fan base has had to endure. The sports media is just absolutely tearing us apart, guys. It is just. It's making me depressed, like almost. But at the same time, it just reminds me. We're from Philly. We're from Philly. No one likes us.
They hate us
We
because
don't.
they ain't us.
We don't care. They hate us because they ain't us. And really, the people who are mad are just Giants fans. So really, I can care less. But let's get into it. So the Eagles lose 20-14. The Washington football team. I was about to say Redskins. I can't say that anymore. They win by 6, and they could have lost this game maybe. But they clinched the NFC East. They clinched the playoff spot. New York had beaten Dallas earlier in the day to hopefully clinch the NFC East if Washington lost. But a little decision making by Doug Peterson at the end of the third quarter, he puts in Nate Sudfeld. And so everyone, I'm sure you guys were very interested. So you know what? I'll start it right here. Let's go before the end result. So when Nate Sudfeld enters the game, Dual Threat, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Man, that was a good guess. Dual Threat, I'll start with you. What was your first thought when Nate Sudfeld entered the football game?
Oh, Nate the Great. It's time for Nate time. Honestly, I thought he was going to go in there, play astounding, and we were still going to lose somehow. He's just getting us the field goal range to throw a pick or something. Because
Right.
I don't expect much from Nate. I expect their defense to ramp up a bit because their pass rush is their pass rush that doesn't have to worry about a running quarterback anymore. Yeah, but Nate
Which it
came
did.
in and came in and looked like a third stringer. And
As he is. Yeah.
It was sad to see.
Sudfeld.
Was this a Studfeld? That's what went through mine too. G Rich, what was your first initial thought when Nate the Great took the field?
I wasn't surprised. Throughout the week, we had many reports that Sudfeld was going to get some playing time. I wasn't sure when he was going to come in, but I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. So I really wasn't surprised. And I mean, it was in a meaningless game. And I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the quote by Emmanuel Acho that was streaming around a little, or it was actually trended for a minute. He said, talking to Eagles fans, you weren't unhappy with the decision. You were unhappy with the outcome, more or less. They were more mad that because Sudfeld looked so good in past years coming in as a backup, like he seemed like he was all right. Like he wasn't going to go win us a Super Bowl or nothing like that. I mean, we'd never know because we wouldn't have expected to win it with Foles, but but he looked all right. And then he comes in. He hadn't taken a snap since 2018. Looks like complete ass cheeks. So I think we were a little more devastated the fact that Sudfeld just kind of blew the game. He probably could have had a chance to win that game if he really wanted to.
It was a close game.
Right. And I'll tell you my thoughts is I think I texted you guys immediately when he took the field is Doug didn't make that touchdown on 4th down, so he has literally said, screw it, let's go with Nate. And so honestly, that was just kind of what I was expecting out of Nate Sudfeld. But when he first came in, I was like, oh, wow, we really don't care this week, do we? No, don't get me wrong. I like Nate. I've seen him play during the preseasons. I've watched him live a couple of times, and he's not bad. He's actually pretty decent when you give him time. When he's actually had practice and stuff like that. But Macho was right. We just are not happy with the end result. So we might have to check up on Nate and see what we should do with him, if we should keep him or not. Which honestly is a good test, and I really think people are missing that. Is that we've had this guy for 4 years on just learning our system and just like maybe playing good for all we know. And he's probably maybe gonna have some kind of career down the road. I don't know. He's a young guy too. Like this is his 4th year in the league, 5th year in the league, or something like that.
I think it's like 7th. I think he's been around for a while.
It is, but either way, I wouldn't know because he's been riding the bench. But look, so might as well see what the kid has. It's week 17. We're not playing for a playoff. I think that the media and just Twitter are just like overreacting, and I'm just like, I don't understand. Like,
I wasn't mad.
Like,
not at all.
Like, why are you guys so upset about this? I'm not saying Eagles Twitter. Eagles Twitter was just like just like me. I don't know why everyone's so upset. It's week 17. We're not playing for anything at all. I literally threw up a picture on my timeline that was like the banner for the Super Bowl, and I just wrote over. I said, "Beat Washington" instead of the 2017 Super Bowl champions, because I just said screw it, because it's a fun week. Why not? Maybe if we want to have fun with the NFC East, let's get a win. I'll take the 9th pick. But everyone says we hit the tank button. It's kind of true, we did, and now we have the 6th pick. Sorry, not my problem, Giants fans. You should have got more than 6 wins. I don't know. I don't know why you guys are so.
I don't know. We can blame Evan Ingram for having Butterfingers one week, but that's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there.
I just it's just me. You could have beat us twice, but you only beat us once. Yeah. But yeah. So regarding this decision to bring in Nate Sutterfeld, do you guys really think it was Doug, or do you think it was a higher up choice?
Oh, this is 100% Doug.
100% Doug? Explain. If you can.
Doug's been saying all week that Sudfeld's getting reps regardless. So it was more about when. I think this is more Doug timing it up weird. So where Hurts is kind of having a pretty bad game. So why not pull him in half instead of like mid-3rd, or was it early 4th? Which one was it?
At the very start of the 4th quarter.
Okay, so like in the 4th, why let Hurts take an extra quarter of punishment, which he was? We weren't really helping him with the offensive line. So it's just time. Doug's timing kind of just screwed everyone out of like a watchable 4th quarter.
Right.
I mean, like our defense was playing outstanding, so it's kind of turned into a defensive slugfest, which isn't the most entertaining football. When you got Jalen Hurts running for his life for 3 quarters, which was fun.
Yeah. G-Rich, do you have any kind of conspiracy? Do you think this is higher up or just straight up Doug?
I think it was Doug, but I also think that there is some sort of a toxic disconnect between the coaches and players, because, I mean, we all saw the Miles Sanders quote coming out saying like he wasn't really too fond of the decision. And then you had Kayvon Wallace coming out, and I mean there were a few people that were not really happy with the decision, and you would have expected them to know with all the. I mean, me as a fan, like going through the week, if I'm seeing all these articles about Nate Sudfeld getting reps and going to play, how is it leaking all the way to me? But within the house, it's not really being talked about, and no one's noticing, because not all the players, believe it or not, live on social media. That's actually preached to a lot of them to stay off because it's very toxic. And if they want to have a solid long career, you kind of want to stay away from that because it can take a toll on you down the road. Social media can be very brutal.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
That's a fact.
And
if you ask the Lakers rookies.
So speaking of that, actually, is with the whole Miles Sanders having an issue thing. Hey Miles, where were you during the game? If you care that much. Oh yeah, that's right. Your pads are off. You didn't even like practice the entire week. Same for here. I actually have a whole list.
Oh God, got the
Miles Sa-
receipts.
Miles Sanders, where were you? If he was injured, then I understand. Deshaun Jackson also off the field. Alshon Jeffrey also off the field. Dallas Goedert off the field. Richard Rodgers, the backup tight end, also off the field. Then the defense had to be held back. Excuse me, Fletcher Cox inactive. Derek Barnett inactive. Our best players are not on the field. So what I don't understand is these quotes and these articles coming out about, oh, these players had a problem and had an issue with the substitution. Where were you? You're on the bench. You're taking a week off. I'm yelling. I apologize,
Go
but
off.
it's just you can't say you're upset with the coach's decision making and also not even have your pads on and not being out there with your teammate and even helping him out. Who's Nate Sudfeld playing with out there? Boston Scott at running back, a 5'2", like I know he's taller than 5'2", but like a midget or running back, and Corey Clement that got one carry for 1 yard, and you're gonna
They're 5'2".
and you I know he's not that short, trust me,
No,
but
I know.
it's like,
The exaggeration.
but it's how are you going to give the man no help and then be upset with a substitution? You're all on the bench. Like you can't. I think that any quote that comes from any inactive player is null. I think their point is automatically null. And if you really had a problem with it, you should have been playing the game. I know no one wants to get hurt, but that's the point of taking Jalen Hurts out, so he doesn't get hurt either. So that's just my rant because that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If that were coming from me, I know my coach would just tell me to shut the hell up. Like it's like, oh, thanks, man, you didn't even play. Thanks for helping me out and the team out by taking the week off. Like, peace. So I don't know, Miles. I love you. You're a great running back, but no room to
Pro
speak.
Bowl running back too.
It's
Underused. 130 something yards, I think, under 1,000, with
Right.
such lack of usage on the season too.
Was he really that close to 1,000 yards?
Yeah, he had like 800 and like what, 40 or something like that. It
Man,
was
he's
like,
a dog.
And I mean, I don't know. If he's strapped up, he probably would have got 1,000 too. But hey,
Nah, not against that defense. Not against that defense.
it's maybe. I mean, Boston Scott
our starters? Oh no.
Boston Scott had 60.
yeah, that's true. Boston
60
Scott
something?
actually had a solid game. You can only imagine Miles Sanders in place.
Yeah, I mean, Corey Clement only had a yard. So, I mean,
He's a
but
baller.
look, yeah. But if you had Miles in Boston, who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But it's just me. So, moving on from the Miles Sanders quote before I get even more frustrated. So let's just let's throw a wild card out here for you guys. Let's say, what if the Eagles won?
Mhm.
Then do you guys think the media would be on our ass as much as we are, as
Yes.
much as they are about
Yes.
the yeah? Would you think
They'd
it would just
be
be
fine.
opposite?
They
And-
call
and-
it a dumb decision.
Like, do you think that they would question us not getting the better draft pick?
Oh, I think that
Especially-
I think whatever we do, they will always find a way to say that there was something wrong about what we did, and there can always be something different that would have benefited us. And like, I feel like the media just really stirs the pot and sits back and laughs at Philadelphia the way that we, like overthink. A lot of our media likes to feed us a bunch of bullshit, and I don't know.
Just how it
It's-
is.
I don't think that if we won, it would have been a big difference. It would have just been a worse draft pick, to be honest. So I think the outcome was a blessing in disguise.
Right. That's what I was saying. I'll take all the media criticism that it takes. So yeah, at least they're being talked about. I mean, we're a 4-11-1 team. You know who else is 4-11-1? The Bengals, and they're not getting talked about as much as we are. So, I mean, I'll take it. So anyway, Hey, JD, thank you, man, for tuning in. Loves the podcast. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you too, JD.
So, moving on from this, is there any free agents that stuck out to you? I know that T.Y. McGill actually re-signed. I saw that headline today from the Twitter. But was there any free agents that we discussed from the last show that you maybe saw maybe confirm their job, or someone that played well on offense or defense that really like stuck out to you?
Go ahead, dual threat.
You can go first. You can go first.
You want me to go
G-Rich,
first?
G-Rich.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sticking with my man Mills. I think that his dedication, and he worked hard this season. I think that they'll get him at least another year with the team, if not a couple of years. But I did like Vinny Curry's addition to the D line very much so. I think that he'll stick around. Duke Riley, maybe. I think he here and there. I mean, that wouldn't be like detrimental if he wasn't on the team, I don't think. But I think he's shown some flashes. And I liked Richard Rodgers, to be honest. To kind of, even if he's not the lead tight end, I think when he needed to come in and fill a spot, he was there. So I like
especially now since
that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out. Especially now since certain someone might be leaving. We'll get to that. Dual threat, though?
Yeah, I go Vinny. Obviously, we go the Green Goblin, because it's Jalen. He's a Philly legend.
Why not?
Legend. Need you to say it, Jesse.
He's a legend, I guess. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
I don't know about Duke, because I feel like one way we will probably mess up this draft is mess up in a sense is probably go Micah Parsons in the first round instead of the Heisman. But hey, that's neat. That's later talk. But those are the only two really is Jalen and Vinny.
Jalen and Vinny. All right.
Maybe Nate.
The guy that I saw playing on Sunday that I would really love to extend at the least is Alex Singleton. Because
is he not on a contract?
I'm not really quite sure, but whatever it is, we need to pay him more because this guy he's balling right now. This guy came from Canada, and a lot of Canada is actually cheering for him, from what I understand. But I mean, on Sunday, 14 combined tackles, 8 solo tackles, most on the team, a sack and a tackle for loss. I think this guy has definitely earned a raise at the least. Other than that, I was going to say T.Y. McGill, but you already re-signed him, so that became a pretty easy answer for me. I mean, the whole defense, honestly, in general, on Sunday, showed out. They only held. I keep wanting to say the old football team name. They only held. they held the football team to 20 points. They had 248 yards. They were pretty impressive. Even Marcus Epps had a pretty nice interception, I thought. What's your guys' impression of the defense?
I mean, overall, I think I will add on to what you said. Singleton has been absolutely balling this season. The best ability is partially availability. Can't say that for every player, but especially being available for your team is big. And he was there since he's been called on to be a starter. He recorded 125 tackles this year, and he eclipsed any other Eagle by a landslide in tackles. I mean, and Duel said it many weeks, his pass coverage has been a little shaky. He actually looked pretty decent this past Sunday in pass coverage. He didn't look awful. I mean, but he's not somebody you're going to want lined up on Gronk or anything by any means. Yeah. Anybody that can handle that. I mean, I don't think many people can handle Gronk, but you get the deal.
Yeah.
But I think that Singleton was a big surprise this year. And overall, I think Jim Schwartz does really well working with what he's given, which we'll get to that sad topic.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, I mean, some people were really hard on Schwartz, and I feel like he's going to be more missed than he is going to be. I don't think people are going to be so glad he's gone. Once they realize unless they make a good hire and things turn for the better, which
Mhm.
you never know.
We'll see about the hiring process, but yeah, but we'll definitely talk about the whole Jim Schwartz thing. So yeah, moving on from that. I mean, honestly, since we're on the defense, I guess we might as well just address it. This was Jim Schwartz is final departure for Philly, his last hurrah, his swan song, if you will, and it was a good one. It's been a good solid couple of years. Won us the Super Bowl. We got to thank him for that. And but the guy is thinking about retiring, and we got to let the guy leave his nest. And I think this is going to be a really interesting hiring process. Is there any defensive coordinators you guys might know of? I'll start over here with you, Rich.
I saw a couple. Articles and some takes that were saying that we might, or actually, it was Tyler Steege, to be honest, that I remember seeing. He was talking about possibly shifting to a 3-4 with our look and going. He was the defensive coordinator for the Rams. To save me to look it up, I forget.
It was the older guy, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up really quick.
To the Google.
Gotcha.
To the Google.
So-
Yeah, look that up really quick. I mean, there might be a couple guys from colleges. Dual threat. Do you have anyone in mind? Maybe
I think we just go in house. Truthfully, maybe our linebacker
In-house?
coach, maybe our D line coach. Really.
Interesting. I mean, our front seven is the strongest part. Maybe it'll
Yeah.
translate.
Mhm.
G. Rich, you got the
Wade Phillips.
Wade Phillips.
Ah,
That was up here too. I knew
Good
the
one.
name.
I wouldn't mind seeing Wade Phillips and maybe a little bit of a difference, but I don't know. Like Dulthar, what do you think about shifting to a 3-4 look?
I don't think our rushers can cover that well. Like, I don't think our line that we have enough ends that can move to outside linebacker. I'm like, it'll give us more of a variety of
We
being able
have
to
some
like
speed.
bring pressure. It's not about speed; it's about coverage skills. I'm
No,
not
that's the
trusting.
point. The developing, I would say
I
the
don't-
developing into it would be interesting to see because, like you're saying, they've shown that they struggle in pass coverage. So I mean, with maybe a different defensive coach and maybe help kind of change the culture a little bit on our defense, but who knows?
I'm like, how do you use BG, Barnett, Vinny? Do you move or what's his name, Josh Sweat? Do you move them in to try and, or do you move them like out to linebackers, or like it's a tough thing, like trying to manage like some young guys who are really good in this 4-3, and like Brandon Graham. We're not calling he's a young old guy, but trying to move them out, it'll be. I feel like it's just we'd be tearing down like a pretty good foundation we have across the line. And that's not the part that needs to be fixed. Like our secondary is what is really the part that's all messed up. And changing to 3-4 is more of a line thing than a secondary problem.
Right. All right. Joseph thinks that we're built for 4-3 might take a couple of seasons, which is true. I think we do have the linemen for it. I think we would probably just have to look at more of like more hybrid linebackers in the draft. We probably have to get that nice linebacker safety kind of thing. Like Kevon Wallace could be Kevon. I'm not really quite sure, but I'm sure he could be the hybrid if he wanted to. I know he's not the biggest guy, but he's definitely got the speed for it.
He can hit too.
Yeah, I know he can. I mean, he came from Clemson. He's a national champ. I mean, I know his skills there, so I'd be interested to see how he develops. Hopefully, we could use him more as safety. I would even see him at a couple snaps at corner. But we will see about that. So moving on from that, so there's a lot of questions this week, and so we kind of have to talk about it. I don't think so, but G. Rich, is Doug Peterson's job in trouble?
I don't think so at this very moment. I think it is. I think it's more of like a 50-50 slope. So it's like yes and no. I don't think they're going to can him right now. I think they'll give him another year. I think that they are going to shake up the staff a little bit. He's going to be forced to hire an OC. I think so.
Hopefully.
I don't think that if he wants to keep his job, I think he will allow another offensive mind to kind of make the calls. And well, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. As you guys saw, they let the special assistants go.
Yeah. Are what
So-
all 50 of them?
Jesus,
It's
just about.
Sorry, I like to over exaggerate a lot, but you know,
Alright.
no, but it's true. It's like instead
he
of
had like
hiring
50.
one good offense coordinator, you're going to hire all these little special assistants, and then you're going to come out and you're going to tell everybody that you like one offensive voice and that you want that to be your voice. So what the hell are these other guys doing in the building? Are they just chilling? Like,
It's probably not a lot. It doesn't seem like they're doing a lot because of how our offense has been playing. But dual threat, is Doug's job in danger?
This offseason, no. I think he has 6 games to start the season. I think if we start out completely just crap the bed and we start off like 1-5, I think he gets the BOB treatment where he's just like where Lori kind of has no choice but to say, you gotta go. And honestly, or if Carson, or if they try and like really do try and rebuild this Carson situation, be like, hey, we'll give you this first couple of weeks or these first 6 weeks of you got your job back, and Carson looks even worse. Then
Right.
yeah, I do feel like Doug doesn't make it to the end of next season.
So staying on that topic, which reports do you guys believe? Gio, I'll go back to you. Do you believe that this relationship is absolutely broken, or do you believe the reports that says Doug Peterson tends to return and wants Carson to return to fix him?
I believe they want him to return. I do think so with that. I don't think it's as bad as media is making it seem. I think that they're just going for the clicks and numbers. Now, that's not to say that Carson Wentz isn't unhappy with the situation, because, I mean, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't be, but at the same time, he kind of asked for it. But he also got put in a terrible position. There's a lot of factors that you can weigh out with the situation. I think, especially under the contract that he's sticking with right now, or that he's stuck with right now, I think he at least gets his offseason and possibly some of the regular season, maybe with more pieces added around, maybe with a new offensive coordinator, hopefully a new QB coach. Hopefully Press Taylor's gone. That's another that's another name I'd like to see relieved of his duties soon, but we'll see about that.
I bet you he'll get promoted instead just because we're the Eagles.
And he'll ball out. He'll ball out somehow. Watch.
Maybe. Dual threat, same question.
Crap, I forgot. Okay. I don't know, really.
You don't know.
I'd probably lean more that this is probably, well, because me personally, I think we should trade Carson. I think it's best for both parties at this point. And just give Hurts kind of the full runway of like, you're our guy. We're riding with you. Like, there's no like, oh yeah, now you're taking reps with the second team, or you're taking reps with the first team, and you're a scout QB for a week 1 matchup with Lamar Jackson. You know, I think it's best for everybody if we know that there's no QB controversy, there's no potential ill will between a quarterback and the coach, and there's not kind of a faction war that might start brewing. Even though NFL locker room is a brotherhood. I kind of want this guy. I kind of want that guy. And I think it's better for Carson not to have like a shadow over his shoulder if he actually does win the job. Like, oh, Carson threw 2 picks this week. One was deflected. Yeah, let's can him anyway. Bring in Hurts. I just feel like it's better for everyone if this relationship is completely fractured. And and plus we can rebuild through the draft because, we don't have any cap next year. But that's just my opinion.
Question, dual threat.
Okay, let's hear it.
I was wondering, like, coming off of what you just said, say Carson wins the job and they build around him. He has another QB coach, hopefully another QB coach in his ear. I think he needs a different voice in his ear, a little bit of a change. And say he is a starter. Where does Hurts go? How do you play the Hurts card then?
Probably goes into Taysom Hill mode because Doug wants to use him, and Howie definitely wants Doug to use him because you wasted a 2nd round draft pick on a backup QB for no reason other than to try and say, "Oh, Carson's injury prone. We don't really trust him." It was useful this year, kind of. We won 1 game with him, but we just turned into the Saints of a year ago, which isn't a bad thing, but I don't think we have a Michael Thomas to kind of make it run as well either. So
hopefully we'll have a Devontae Smith.
Maybe. Or we just have a Micah Parsons or Zach Wilson or
Micah Parsons might be
Justin Fields. Or
he might be good. He might not be what we're looking for, but necessarily.
Or we might have Patrick Sutron who ends up dudding for us for some reason because we can't develop corners. But who knows?
Don't speak that into existence.
Who knows?
If we draft a corner 1st round, I think it's like Patrick Surtain.
Yeah,
I think that with Slay on the opposite side, that could be a nice addition.
Could be, he could look like Jeff Okudah for his first couple weeks.
But all right. So moving on from Doug Peterson. So let's say in this draft, Howie Roseman strikes out again. Maybe the 1st round he does good. He drafts exactly not what we're looking for, but he drafts a good player. And then let's say we go, I don't know, 7-9 next year. Do you think that this year could be the final straw for Howie Roseman? Dual threat, I will start with you again.
I would say it depends on who messes up the worst.
Okay.
Because draft picks, they're rookies, they're kids still, kind of. They're going into a grown man's sport. They need time to develop a bit, get adjusted. So if they're playing kind of bad, you can say, "Oh, I need another year." But if it's like your free agent signings, maybe some guys you brought in on trades, and now you have nothing cap wise to kind of fix anything. Yeah, I think Howie's probably gonna go.
Are you already upset with Howie as it is?
Oh, 100%.
100%. G Rich, but do you?
I think it's a do or die that he has to. He's even said it too. He's been asked about it. He knows he has to hit on these picks, like this upcoming draft. This is like the final straw, I think, in my opinion. If he goes out there and he starts going after these diamonds. If he goes out and gets these diamonds in the roughs or like what he thinks are diamonds in the roughs, and instead of going with the clear cut for some of the picks, don't get me wrong, a diamond in the rough is fine here and there, but it's
when we find one, it's fine.
Exactly.
We don't find
Mailata, he worked out, that's fine, but that's a 7th round pick. That's a very low risk pick.
That's a diamond in the rough.
Yeah,
in the 7th round, not a 1st round pick.
Exactly.
But go on, sorry.
But I'm saying, 1st round picks, you're talking like Nelson Aguilar, He was a first rounder. Who else?
Who's that first round pick?
That D end. I forget his name.
Sharif Miller, I think.
Sharif.
Nah, that was 4th round.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he was.
I know
supposed to be
I know
a
you're
stud.
talking about.
Look, can we
Barnett, wasn't he a first round?
Mm-hmm.
Jared Barnett?
And I mean, like he's been all right, but is he a first round talent from what we've seen? Like he's been a nice rotational player, but
Right.
I mean, there's just a lot to that, and I think he does have to hit on. I think if
Marcus Smith. Oh man,
Marcus Smith, that's his name. Thank you. Yeah,
I think that was a Chip Kelly one though.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a really
well,
one.
Howie was around though. I mean, I guess they did give a little bit of a. They gave
Chip Kelly with the Chip Kelly being a GM year.
Yeah, that was 2014.
That was a Chip Kelly
But
pick.
Chip Kelly brought in some. He brought in some notable pieces too.
Which
He also
was
got rid of
Hart
some
and Wayne.
notable pieces, but
Also
you
true.
know.
So how do you feel, Jesse?
So look, I'm already. So back in three
Also true.
years ago, 2 years ago, I was totally ready to like defend Howie till I died. I was like, oh, this guy can write any contract up to save us money. This guy can draft. I think Howie's gonna win us another Super Bowl, and he's gonna give Doug a great deal. He's gonna give Carson a great deal, which he gave Carson a good deal, and I think that's the one thing to be proud of for Howie Roseman is that he can work out a contract. I mean, are they with players that are not really working out at the moment? Yeah, but either way, he's still making the good deals, and we're in a little bit of a cap situation with Carson Wentz, but that's because he was supposed to be our guy, and he wasn't supposed to collapse, and we're not supposed to trade him. We're supposed to keep him and pay him the $25 million. But to the question that I asked is this his last straw? 100% yes. If he messes up in the first round, I wouldn't be surprised if they just can him right there. Because we desperately need this 6th pick to be a good one. Like, if we're going to collapse, we got to do it right, But we can't even do that right because people still get mad at us for losing week 17. But he needs to hit on Jamar Chase if he's there. He needs to hit on Devontae Smith if he's there. He needs to hit on like any first round talent that can help Carson Wentz / Jalen Hurts, whoever you want out there. But this is definitely his last straw, and if he messes up the draft, I would not be surprised if Lurie just says, "There's a door, buddy. Like we gotta separate ways."
See,
Right.
I've talked with Dual Threat a few times when we went on our little rants on the side, and when I brought up Howie and his magical contract restructures and everything, he was like, realistically, all he's doing is making you have to pay him down the road. He's
Right.
just kind of moving it back, which that's more of an agreement with the players. I mean, anybody can really do that because I could tell you what, and when I took over the Eagles and Madden, I'm just saying, I was like negative 20-something mil coming
And
up the
through
next
my
year.
help.
And with his help, yes. But the fact of the matter is, it can come back and bite us in the ass. I just think that there are some players getting paid a lot of money for their age.
Right. And it's like Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, and the people like that. So yeah, I guess that's Howie Roseman. So I guess kind of on the same subject, it is talking about the front office and deals that we should probably talk about. Is what's going to happen with Zach Ertz? He's supposed to be, I believe, a free agent. But
Next year.
yeah, it's next year. So But he's his brother on Twitter, and actually had a kind of okay conversation with him on Twitter over this. But his brother on Twitter posted a pretty emotional kind of message going out to just like his brother Zach Ertz, obviously tight end for the Eagles. If you guys didn't know for some reason, and it kind of seemed like it was gonna be goodbye. And this is kind of coming out of nowhere because Zach Ertz is like a staple for Philadelphia football the past couple of years. Even though the season has kind of been a down year, but who hasn't had a down year this year for Philadelphia? And it seems like if everything is coming true, that Zach Ertz might be leaving soon. Do you guys think Zach Ertz is out? Do you think Howie Roseman and Zach Ertz can work something out? I don't think we'll be able to afford him. Rich, I'll start with you.
Do I think he's on his way out? Going based off of his reactions on during the final minutes of his time on Lincoln Financial Field with the other players, and him being the last one on the field, not leaving until late. His heartfelt message. I mean, probably. And that's not the answer a lot of people want to hear. And, I mean, we'd love to see Zach Ertz stick around if he could. But, I mean, he had a hell of a career, 561 catches, 6,078 yards, and 36 touchdowns.
Wow.
And, I mean, that's a pretty remarkable career for the time that he's been here. And, I mean, he loves Philly. The man, like when we talk about Jalen Mills, how he loves Philly, and you could tell. I mean, it's kind of like that. The only difference is obviously Ertz was more of a staple, on his side of the ball.
Right.
I think if Wentz
Julio, what?
I think if Wentz does in fact go, I think that also could influence a little bit of the decision making too, like cleaning a house type deal. That's a possibility. But I want to top that off with thank you, Zach Ertz, for all the amazing years in Philly. And on and off the field, been a class act. I mean, you and your wife, Julie, we watched you guys get engaged and married, and you've shown nothing but love for the city. So we'll show it right back to you. And wherever you go, hats off, and we'll support you.
Of course. Dual Threat, your thoughts, man?
I think it's time, sadly, because I don't think – because we have to pay one of two of either both of our tight ends because Dallas is also on a contract year next year, or like paying both of them is going to be a pretty tough manage because Dallas is probably is up there with Ertz too, like not maybe like a slight tier under him.
Right.
And having to pay him that money, plus he's younger, and I wouldn't say less injury prone, but more probably has higher miles on his legs left than Ertz does, and plus the yak ability. But yeah, and Ertz is a bit more refined route running was. I'm going on a rant. As I get my thought together, I think he's gone. Sadly, I think this is Zach Ertz's. That was Zach Ertz's last game. Sad it had to be an L to Washington, and a team with no name. God,
team with no name.
They won the division. But
first year.
Yep. Did they win it, or did the rest of the division lose it? That's the question.
We definitely lost it.
So disappointing.
I in fact, I will call it out. I in fact lost a $20 bet before the season. It was like really early into the season. A buddy of mine, we were chatting about the Eagles over a beer, and he said, "You guys are terrible." And like from seeing how all the decisions we made and everything, I mean, I can't fully disagree with that. And he said that your division is horrible, and that the Washington football team will probably win the division before the Eagles do. So I bet him
Call that
$20
week one.
over that.
Before our game started, I called that week one. That the Washington football team was going to win it.
Yeah, he called it, and I in fact forgot about it. He texted me during or after the Week 16 game, our loss against the Cardinals or no the Cowboys when we lost to the Cowboys. He texted me and said, "Hey, you remember that bet, right?"
He always comes back for the money.
Love it.
Always.
Always comes back for the money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, but
How about you, Jess?
yeah. So look, I love Zach. We even have him as the background for today's show because I think we all love him very much. Gosh, what to say, man? I remember drafting him. I remember drafting this kid. I thought when during his first year, I thought he looked good. I thought he was going to be better than Brent Selleck. I love Brent Selleck too. He's also a staple in Philadelphia, and I think Zach Ertz might be even more, even though he didn't have as long as a tenure in Philly. But they were both Super Bowl champions, and I think that's a huge thing to remember. Zach Ertz did score the go-ahead touchdown in Super Bowl 52. And it's probably the most talked about touchdown like that whole week because of, the whole 3 steps and did he make it in. I love Zach. I wish him the absolute best. I have a feeling that after that, it's just so sad, emotional press conference where he's just tearing up. He had me tearing up a couple of times. And it really just feels like the end. And it's a really bitter end because we really had to send him out on 4-11-1. And I think that makes it even more of a signal that he is leaving. Like, we're probably going to hit a hard reset button on this team. Who knows who's staying? Who knows who's getting fired? Who knows who's getting signed? So maybe that's why Zach's brother Nick wrote that heartfelt message because no one knows what's going to happen. We don't know if Zach's going to stay, but it most likely is looking like he's not. So, like Shira said, man, it's caps off to him. We know he's going to ball out wherever he goes. He's always going to be a top 5 tight end in our eyes, at least. I mean, he's top 3 if you ask me, but this year he might have went down a little bit. But who knows? But moving on from that sad thing, we got to talk about another maybe less likely departure, but it's something we've been talking about for the past, I don't know, month. Carson Wentz. I mean, or actually, did I already ask this question? I mean, Carson Wentz is he staying? Do we? What's our final thoughts on this, man? Do we think he's staying? We got this report coming out on game day that the relationship is absolutely fractured. And I don't know. I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to stick it out one more year. G. Rich?
I do think that he's at least going to stay for one more year. I can agree with you on that, and I believe that he probably holds a soft spot in his heart for Philly. I'm sure. I mean, it sucks how everything has been kind of turning lately, and I really don't want to see him go. Dual threat does have he's made good points. It's probably better for his future. I will agree with that. However, if they do mean what they say and they put their emphasis on Carson Wentz, getting him a competent QB coach, an offensive coordinator to help with some creative plays and helping Carson Wentz maybe with some of his reads, pre-snap reads that he may or may not be seeing. Get him hit on a playmaker, like our Howie topic. Hit on the playmaker. Put everything, piece it together around him. Maybe Rager gets better in the offseason, especially because he has some potential that we probably haven't seen yet. I mean, that punt return shows he does have the speed to take it to the house. So I mean, maybe an offense coordinator will help Rager start to kind of enhance his game a little bit. Just all together, I think one thing that we can say that we proved is the QB was not the main issue. Did not matter who we had at that QB spot. We were still piss poor in our numbers when it came to our passing numbers across the board. It just wasn't. It was not the issue.
Right. Exactly. Jewel, one more year or peace out?
Honestly, this is a perfect segue into my trade that I've been talking about. So
All
you want to talk about it?
Yes, please. I would love to know about your trade.
All right.
Let's hear it.
But ladies and gentlemen, we've been hearing about this all day, and the time has finally come for us.
And we're hearing about it for the first time with you guys. So
With you guys.
the stage is yours.
And understand, this is extremely out there, probably extremely unlikely to happen.
Okay.
Okay, this trade does mean we are losing our first pick this year, and probably next year.
Okay.
Okay. My ideal trade for Carson Wentz is we trade Carson, a first this year and a first next year, for another unhappy quarterback right now, who's very pissed at his organization for not involving him in a GM hire of his team right now, and that is one Deshaun Watson.
I knew it. I knew that.
Deshaun Watson.
That would be.
If they both ask for a trade, Carson renegotiates his contract. Maybe we miss out on a cap hit. We can afford Deshaun Watson. We do lose the opportunity of getting Devontae Smith or Patrick Surtain or Jamar Chase or Micah Parsons. But isn't that for the better? Because we all know how he 80% chance messes it up, and we get a quarterback who can kind of operate with whatever's around him, really, and still put up a top 5 season and have a team around him that actually, and a division that he only needs to win like 8 games to win it. This is a perfect situation for Deshaun. And honestly, I really, really would love to see Deshaun Watson because I was a huge fan of him when he came out of college, just like I was a fan of Dak Prescott before he was on the Cowboys. Now I hate his guts, but man, I would love to see it.
Oh, you remember watching him over at Mississippi State?
Yes, I was a huge Dak Prescott fan until he got drafted.
But I think I don't think I'd be mad at that. I mean, he did kind of have an MVP type caliber season that went under the radar because I mean they didn't win a lot of games, and I mean I forget what his passer rating was, but it was well over 100. I mean, he had a good season overall. And they took his number one target away. He dealt with all the injuries around him.
His running back. It was 112.4.
Man, you really got me thinking about this trade right now.
It wasn't. I can't say I would be mad with that trade, but I would be a little disappointed.
Can't be mad. I'd do this in a heartbeat.
It's like, because it's not like we're going to hit in the first round anyway. We could probably do without the first round pick that we're going to miss on, and then go for the stupid ass diamond in the rough that we go for every year. And then it's just a win-win.
Jesse hopping on the dual threat train. He's been saying that for a hot minute.
Hopping on, man. That's really not like the worst trade I've ever heard.
Dual threat also used to say that, or you've said it a few times on our past shows, that you trust Howie with the top 6.
I do trust it. I do trust Howie with the top 6. I do not trust him with the top 15 we will get next year.
So with that said, you'd prefer to snag the franchise quarterback over
the known MVP
winner receiver.
Yes, the known MVP commodity that I don't have to continually build a team around. I just need to have kind of a good enough defense. And we'll kind of build him parts. We have a good O-line. That's probably the best O-line he'll ever play for because Houston is abysmal at building one. And will destroy him like the Colts did to Andrew Luck.
Well, plot twist, we ruined Deshaun Watson. Then where are we at with no picks?
I mean, like, it's only a pick next year. And we're not like
You said
B.O.B.
this and next year. Well,
Yeah.
I guess, but we still miss on a full first round this year
But
too.
we still
when
have
we're
our
supposed to.
seconds. Like, we're not the Texans where we trade away our first three rounds for a tackle and a running back that, while trading away, Jesus, they really traded DeAndre Hopkins for a second, basically. But we're not the Texans. All right? We have our second round picks, which we can kind of hit on. They'll be ready made, kind of. So I really, really would love to see Deshaun Watson in an Eagles jersey, because I know for a fact,
okay,
if
so
we don't,
saying that
he might be in a Washington one.
Let's say we don't do that trade and we
Right.
do keep our sixth pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we're both on the train, either Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
So, dual threat, would you go Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase if they're both on the board?
It's tough because Jamar Chase hasn't been on a football field in over a year, and he's gonna have some rust, and Devontae Smith is coming off a historically great season for a college receiver. So I probably go, if I had, I'd probably go Devontae Smith, just off the Heisman and being great and being able to have big playability and showing that he can make jump balls and being an SEC receiver for 3 straight years and not sitting out and really just having a breakout year with Jalen Waddle right next to him, who you would think would have had a breakout year instead. So, yeah, I'd go Devontae. Devontae.
Interesting. I think I agree with you on that. But Jesse, how do you feel? You go on Heisman?
I'm going. I think after the year that he had, I think you gotta go with the Heisman. And Dual Threat makes a really good point with the Jamar Chase not even really being on a football field that much within the past year. But look, Devontae Smith is not the biggest guy. He's actually rather small for a wide receiver, but he's still big muscle wise. Like, that dude is jacked and he is fast. And I think if we're going to draft any wide receiver in the first round, we're going to need someone fast and someone strong, someone that might be able to fit that Philly mentality, and just give someone like, I'm just gonna say it, give someone like Jalen Hurts a target to throw to when he's rolling out, And I think they'll even have that Alabama connection. I wouldn't even be surprised if at that point Howie Roseman or Jeffrey Lurie hire someone from Alabama just to make it happen and make it work. And
Sarkisian.
Yeah, so I don't see why not. I mean, getting a Heisman Trophy winner. I think.
I mean, the boy's been putting up like Randy Moss numbers.
Yeah,
in every week. It's crazy.
In college, and he made the Florida defense look silly. And I watched the whole game because I'm a big Florida fan. I'm currently in Gainesville, but I would definitely go with him. I love the SEC. I love SEC receivers. I love Alabama receivers, especially. And I would definitely go with him, even though Jamar Chase from LSU does produce good receivers, obviously. But I think my vote would be Devontae Smith, even though I don't even think he'll even be going that high to 6. I think he'll probably be gone, but we'll see. We'll see. So that actually answered my next question I had. I was going to be, so what now? We got pick number 6. What position should we pick? Obviously, we're all going to say wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, so we're actually going to hit a full hour. I did had a couple more things, but I'll probably just save that for next week because we got a long off season to talk about. Lots of decision making, lots of news to come out. But the only question I will ask is, this weekend, who are you cheering for to win? G-Rich, I'll start with you.
I've been saying I would like to see the Bills have some success. They're kind of reminding me of like the 2017 Eagles now. They're dancing and doing all this crazy shit, blowing out teams. So I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Josh Allen roll through. I wouldn't mind seeing Phillip Rivers and Frank Reich have a little bit of success, possibly. They have a good
Right.
defense over in Indianapolis, so I mean that's a possibility. I like their
So-
defense. What's
So
up,
if you had to choose one, Bills or Colts?
Bills?
Okay.
Dula, but you, man.
Oh,
No, he's still going. He's still got like
Oh,
3
okay,
more
my bad,
games.
my bad. Hey, yeah, you got it. Your floor is yours, man. Sorry.
well, to him, I wouldn't mind seeing. I had a third team. I was on a roll. Go ahead, dual threat. I'll add on.
All right. I want to see, the first playoff win in a long time for the Dog Pound. I really, really want to see Baker Moneymaker put his money where his mouth is and win a playoff game in Pittsburgh this Sunday on Super Wildcard. It would be amazing for me. I also want to see the Bills because I really want to see a Bills-Chiefs matchup because I think the Bills are the only team that could truly beat them this year. Rams Seahawks, both. I hope it ends in a tie. I hope Washington beats the Buccaneers because it's funnier that way.
Right.
I really, really, really want to see Lamar Jackson win his first playoff game this week, and the Ravens get revenge on the Titans, and then they can blame all their playoff woes on Earl Thomas from last year because it's funnier that way. And the bad news bears, Mitch Trubisky.
That's my third team. I had it. I was in the role. That is my third team. I would love to see the Bears make a little bit of noise. I don't think that Trubisky is built for those big games because you saw how he played against Green Bay. He had some great
big game.
If he plays keep away and he takes care of the football, they have a defense and they have some playmakers. They can make some noise. But
well, now look, if it wasn't for Cody Parkey, he would have beat the Eagles in 2018.
Exactly. I think Mitch has got some stuff in him. I think big game Mitch just needs a big game to play in. Like that game last week against the Packers, it didn't matter because he didn't have to really win. He just needed another team to lose.
I didn't know that. They could have very well been knocked out that week.
It was a 50-50, and that's not a big enough game for Mitch. 50-50 game? No, it needs to be a do or die. This is all on you. That's what Mitch Trubisky needs, and that's what he gets this week against the Saints. Because if he plays bad, they're out of the playoffs. It's one and done. And Mitch Trubisky doesn't do one and done. That's only Cody Parkey in the long arm of the law. What was his name? That defensive tackle that year. It was on a roll. But no.
I like Baker too and the Browns. But I'll top off the teams I'm rooting for with the concluding statement that the Cowboys nor the Patriots are in the playoffs. So that is a big win. So I don't even care if the Washington football team goes ahead and wins a chip. That's not gonna. I mean, it not likely whatsoever. But the Cowboys and the Patriots sitting home watching along with us. What else can I say? And the best part about it is number 6 pick. And what are the Cowboys picking at? Like 10?
10 or 11.
10, I think. 10 or. Yeah. So I mean, that's also another one.
There.
That's another one.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll keep my answer short and sweet. Browns, Bills. Definitely the Chiefs. Definitely throughout the playoffs. I would have to say. Honestly, I'm mainly just cheering for the Bills in this one. I have a really good friend who's lives in Buffalo. He's from Arizona, and his name is Cameron. I don't know if he's watching, but he's always been my boy, and he's always been so sad that the Bills haven't won a Super Bowl yet. So he's witnessed me be happy in 2017. So my team this year is the Bills because I wish that man the best because that poor soul is a Buffalo fan. in general. So I gotta give him some kind of positivity. So yeah, that's my main team heading into the weekend and the playoffs in general. And I'll tell you what, I'll even say my anytime touchdown this weekend. Give me one for Rob Gronkowski. Gronk is going to, you know what? Gronk's going to put up two
Oh,
touchdowns.
two. That's big money right there.
2 touchdowns to Gronk, and Chase Young's going to get 2 sacks. Do you guys have any wild guesses for an anytime touchdown before we head off the air?
Let's see. I think Scotty Miller gets one.
Scotty Miller from the Bucks. Okay, we're
Scotty
sticking
Miller.
Bucks.
I think I'm going to go over to the Bills, and I think that no, you know what? I'm going to go to the Browns, and I think Kareem Hunt is going to
That's a valid one.
I think he's going to have an impact. I think he's going to be a nice change of pace in the receiving game to help Baker because they've had a lot of injuries with their receivers. I think that's going to be a big help.
Okay. Kareem Hunt, your anytime touchdown. Duel, what's your anytime touchdown?
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, defensive touchdown.
Defensive touchdown. And I got, what's his name?
You will hear from me if that happens. That's why. Because like that is not completely out of the question. A nice little fumble return or like a tip pick.
It's a Colts guy, and I can't remember his name.
Darius Leonard?
No, it's an offensive guy.
Running back? Receiver?
It's a receiver. I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on it.
Not T.Y.?
No, it's not T.Y. I know T.Y.
I know who you're talking about. He's been putting up some numbers recently. As of recent.
I can't remember his name, but yeah. So
I think that Mac bet has unbelievable odds. I can't even imagine the odds on that. But you should definitely
$10 on it, make some money.
You should definitely place that because I want to see how much he would win. Alrighty, guys. So it's been a terrific show. We went over an hour 5 minutes.
Beautiful.
Pascal?
No.
Campbell?
Yeah, Campbell. That's what
Campbell. There we go.
I wanted to help him out a little bit.
There
I want to keep a nice little watch on these anytime touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Campbell, Gronk for 2, and then yours was
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. All right, we got.
I could see Kareem Hunt going for 1 rushing and 1 receiving.
Bet. Okay. All right, bet. It's also 2 touchdowns. All right, guys. So thanks, y'all, for joining us today. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Make sure to follow us on everything that you see here at the bottom. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Be on the lookout this week. We're going to try our best to give you guys an audio form of this podcast because I'm sure it's a lot easier for y'all to not have to worry about what time we're going to be, what day we're going to be on, and, oh, God, I missed the Eagles Plus. Like, I need to see it right now. But, hey, we're going to help you out. We're going to put it on Anchor, which will put it on Spotify, and I believe the Google Podcast app and stuff like that. So we're going to make sure you guys get more of us for your listening pleasure or viewing pleasure, whichever one it is. But, yeah, so make sure to stay tuned, guys. We'll be back next week. This is G. Rich. That is Dual Threat. I'm Jesse. We have been the Eagles Plus Show. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in. Go Birds.